Interesting game coming up tonight. Watch what you bet here on sportsbookreview.com. We're going to have an ESPN game. Nets and the Thunder, -7, total of 231.5. Moneyline split plus 250, -335. Interesting game here. Obviously, we know the little comeuppance from the crowd in Utah getting on Westbrook. Westbrook a little bit later in the pocket, going to take the court tonight. Nets are 37-32 against the number on the season. 19-13, Teddy, against the spread on the road. The Thunder are 35-32 against the spread on the season. 16-5 against the spread at home at Chesapeake Energy Arena. Should be a decent game tonight. Westbrook come extra fired up here, Teddy.
Well, I mean, Westbrook, it doesn't matter if he's fired up or not. The guy plays the same every night. An extra fired up Westbrook wouldn't in my mind wouldn't be a bet on situation because he's so fired up on a night in, night out basis. Here's his quote. If I had to do it again, I would say the exact same thing because I truly will stand up for myself, for my family, for my kids, for my wife. It's worth noting the guy that was calling him out got ejected permanently from Utah game. As you mentioned, we'll talk that a little bit later. But, 2-2 road trip for the Thunder, returning home. The Nets, in the first meeting between these two teams, the Nets led by 18 going into the fourth quarter. They were outscored by 20 in the fourth quarter. They lost 114-112. Paul George went nuts in that game, 47 points. He scored 25 of those in the fourth quarter. But George is ice cold right now. Since coming back from that shoulder injury, just 23% from beyond the arc in the last 4 games. That's from a guy who was shooting 40% from three-point range for the season. Nets are playing good ball right now. They won 4 in a row. They're playing defense. They held their last 4 opponents under 96 points per game. Point guard Spencer Dinwiddie. We're locked in and we're continuing to improve and turning in the right direction right now. It's very important for the standings. Can't get too high with what's coming up, but we're definitely happy with the result. Worth noting, the Nets schedule down the stretch is as brutal as it comes. Might be the toughest 14-game closeout of an NBA season that I've ever seen. I mean, it really is a brutal schedule for the Nets. So if they stay competitive over the last month of the regular season, got a decent chance to make their backers a fair bit of money because they're going to be underdogs a lot over the next few weeks.
NBA playoff preview tonight, Teddy. Warriors and the Rockets. Maybe we get that little synopsis, maybe a little insight to what's going to take place down the road. Rockets favored by 3.5. Total at 229.5. Moneyline split plus 125, -152. If we take a look, the Warriors are 26-39 against the spread on the season. 2-2 against the spread as road dogs and 14-18 against the spread overall on the road this year. The Rockets 31-34 at home and 18-14 against the spread at home. 7-5 against the spread versus the Pacific Division. Should be a good one tonight in the back-to-back tonight of the doubleheader on ESPN.
Yeah, no Kevin Durant for Golden State tonight, and that's certainly reflected in the markets with the Rockets taking the early money, sitting at 3.5 point chalk right now, which is not a point spread range we're used to seeing Golden State in. The Warriors do have 2 point spread covers as an underdog this year. 2. If they win and cover tonight, that'll be number 3. They haven't obviously been in that role a ton, but when they have been in a role, they have not, as a dog, they have not been money winners. Golden State 0-3 straight up, 0-3 against the spread against Houston in the regular season this year after knocking them off in 7 games last year. And you say, oh, this is circle the wagons time for Golden State. They're coming off a ridiculously bad loss to Phoenix at home, a complete no-show game. This is where they're going to step it up. Well, Warriors off a loss this season, 7-14 against the spread. They have not been moneymakers in any role, even off a loss. And here's a Rockets team. Don't think that they don't think that sweeping Golden State in the regular season is meaningful for a team that hasn't been able to get past the Warriors in the playoffs. The James Harden quote talking about how well Houston's playing right now. We know our system. Guys know their roles now. Defensively, as long as we can lock in for 4 quarters and hold opponents under what they average, and offensively get our shots, we'll live with the results. The Rockets' defense has been pretty darn good in recent ball games. Houston or pass for this better.
ACC action in prime time today, Teddy, going on all day long in Charlotte. Seeing right now Clemson's up 42-26 heading into the break. Notre Dame's going to tee it up with Louisville tonight. Spread -7.5. Favorite is the Louisville Cardinal. Total 134.5. Moneyline split plus 271, -335. 7 p.m. tonight, ESPN2 live from Spectrum Arena in Charlotte, North Carolina. Notre Dame money burners on the season, 12-19 against the spread in all line games. Picked up a nice win yesterday against Georgia Tech. We're going to level up in competition with the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville is 16-13 13 against the spread in all line games, 8-7 as a favorite, and 10-8 in ACC play. The one number that does stick out for Notre Dame, Teddy, 6-12 this year in ACC play.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame only goes 6 deep. Mooney played 38 minutes yesterday. Gibbs and Hub played all 40. The Irish hit 57% from beyond the arc in the game against Georgia Tech. That's one win. Are they going to do it again? I'm not expecting it. We saw that they, a team that lost their last 7 regular season games, and they went home for a day after losing on the road, and then boom, flying back out to Charlotte, and they got the win yesterday. This is not a team that, in my mind, looks to be fighting down to the wire in every ballgame. I think Notre Dame got their win yesterday, and I think that they're all right. Let's go home. There's no NIT bid for this team this year. A sub 500 squad, and it was only 4 years ago they were on the floor here in Greensboro with championship hats and shirts after winning this tournament. But this is a team that's 8-25 straight up in ACC play since opening up last year, 3-0. Louisville's in a different. I know they're 2-6 straight up in their last 8 games, but boy, the quotes out of the Louisville locker room heading into this tournament looked very, very positive to me. Chris Mack, head coach, how I look at this tournament is an opportunity to win a championships. It's nice to know the experts feel like we have done enough not to worry about the second tournament and we're not worried about getting a bid. That's not necessarily being a weight on our shoulders heading in. This is a great opportunity for our team. I'm excited to see how we play. Let's not forget Louisville missed the big dance last year. I wouldn't be surprised they lay a whipping on Notre Dame tonight. It's favorite or pass for this better.